as our honored guest. If you have an opportunity, we'd like a record of your attendance. If you could fill out a visitor's card, and the young man will pick that up at the appropriate time. We have some announcements this morning we wanted to mention that was not on the overhead before services. If you have not had a chance to look at that overhead, then be sure and make note of that. It's your convenience to catch up on some of our news and our sick list that's not in our announcements. We have Miss Peggy Hooten is still in St. Michael's. We're not sure of the room number, so if you do know a room number, be sure to pass that along so we can get that announced. Mike Laney was announced that he had an accident at home and had broken some ribs and had some lung problems. He is coming home today, this afternoon, which is good news, and he is not to have any visitors at this time. Calls, I'm sure, would be appreciated, but for a couple of days, we need to let him recuperate from home and get some rest. So he's doing better. That's a good thing. A couple more announcements. Our father, Johnny, is going in tomorrow morning for a surgery, outpatient surgery in Little Rock, and he'll be going today, traveling to Little Rock for that tomorrow morning at 7. So be sure to keep him in your prayers as we go get him through the surgery and get him back home hopefully tomorrow evening. Also, little Sadie, Jonathan and Terry's baby, will have her, which is normal for young children. She'll have tubes put in her ears January the 2nd, which is this week. And remember her during this time, and hopefully that goes well, and we'll get her back home without any extreme. Sure, that's the case with young babies. Anyone else that we have that we need to bring up at this time on our sick list? If you have anybody that you know of that comes to mind, be sure and get with Brother Jim, and he can get on our announcements for tonight. As far as our news is concerned, there is a sign-up list in the foyer on the bulletin board for the host for the 2020 Potluck Dinners. If you'd like to host one of those events going forward, be sure and sign up for that. Put your name on it, and we'll try to get that filled up as soon as possible. Also, December 31st, which is coming up soon, there'll be a youth devotional and a game night. This is included for everyone that would like to come up and celebrate the New Year's Eve. And so everyone is invited. We look forward to this event every year. So if you have an opportunity to come up and have good fellowship, that would be a good thing. Anything else on our announcements? In order of service this morning, we're fortunate to have Brother Scott Hobson will be bringing the lesson in the absence of Kevin and his family. And we are indeed grateful for these men to stand before us and proclaim the gospel. So Scott will be bringing the lesson. Our first prayer will be Brother Jim Patterson, and our closing prayer by Brother Scott Hobson. Anything else, this young man will pick up the cards. Thank you.
Before opening prayer, we'll sing It Is Well With My Soul. Our books are down on 490. When he's like a river, touching my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou
mindful of the things that we say and do, the example that we set, the influence that we have. We ask that you would help us to be mindful of the less fortunate, mindful of those that are sick and those that are shut in, that we would be careful to visit, be careful to call and look in on these. We ask that you would help us do what you would have us to do in all things. We ask that you would grant to us to be studious of your word, you would grant to us to be, as a church, as a congregation, the course that you would have us to be in this community. Pray that you will help us to be evangelistic, encouraging, and full of good works. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Prayer amounts to the Lord's Supper. We'll sing on number 334, till midnight, and on all the prayer. Long song. The Lord's Supper. 'Tis midnight and dawn all is bright. The star is dim that lately shone. 'Tis midnight in the garden now. The suffering Savior praise come. Midnight and from all removed, the Savior wrestles on with fears, in that disciple the meaning of he's not his master's grief and tears. 'Tis midnight and for others dim. The man of sorrows weeps in mind, yet he that hath in anguish knelt is not forsaken by his God. 'Tis midnight and from ether plains is born the song that angels know, unheard by mortals are the strains that sweetly soothe the Savior's woe.
Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather around this. I thank you. We pray, Heavenly Father, that you bless this bread, which to New Testament Christians represents Christ's body that was shed for us. We pray, Heavenly Father, that we partake of this in a manner that is pleasing unto thee. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Heavenly Father, we're indeed grateful to be able to gather around thy table this morning. We pray that as we turn our mind's eye back to the cross and remember the cruel sacrifice that was done in our stead, and the blood that we partake of this fruit of the vine, it represents the blood that was shed when our Lord and Savior was crucified. Lord, may we take this in a manner pleasing to you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
heaven, we also have this opportunity to return back to you a portion of which you have so richly blessed us with. We pray, Father, those giving will do so with willing and cheerful hearts. In Christ's name we come and pray. Amen.
Travel through life with its trouble and strife, I'm glorious hope to get cheer on the way. Soon my soul will be yours, and I rest on that shore where the night has been turned into day. Up in the beautiful paradise valley by side of the river of life. Up in the valley, the wonderful valley, we all pain and all strife. There we shall be in the rose-tinted garden, deep shade of the evergreen tree. How I long for the paradise valley, where the beauty of heaven I'll see. As I roam the hillside, or I listen to the tide, as I pluck the sweet flowers that grow in the hill, a faint picture is there of a land bright and fair, where perennial flowers their fame. Paradise valley by side of the river of life. Up in the valley, the wonderful valley, we free from all pain and all strife. There we shall live in the rose-tinted garden, neath shade of the evergreen tree. How I long for paradise valley, where the beauty of heaven I'll see. Though your garden is rare, it is not to compare with the flowers that bloom in the garden above. In the midst of it grows, perfect sweet rose is a wonderful flower we love. Paradise valley by side of the river of life. Up in the valley, that wonderful valley, we bring from pain and all strife. There we shall live in the rose-tinted garden, deep shade of the evergreen tree. How I long for the paradise valley, where the beauty of heaven I'll see.
Morning. I'm going to move this. Come on upstairs, man. Go. I do want to point out that I can make a PowerPoint. I just chose not to. I don't want anybody to think that I'm incapable of doing that. All right, I can do it myself. I want to welcome everybody this morning. It's great to be here. I do notice a couple people that are visiting. I want to offer you a special welcome. I appreciate you being here this morning. Just as a preface, I am not the regular preacher. I'm the irregular preacher, I guess. I don't know. I do want to mention one thing. I didn't have to put it on the prayer list, but if you would, my mom is in the hospital. That's where Sherry is this morning. She's staying with her. She had a fall a couple days ago, and we didn't think much of it. But obviously, she hit her head. She didn't know it because she fell. And so yesterday, she was a little disoriented, so they took her to the hospital, and they're going to watch her for a couple of days to make sure that everything's all right. On top of that, she has a bronchitis or pneumonia type thing, so that didn't help things. So if you will pray for her, keep her and my dad in your prayers, because we ain't had Christmas yet. So anyway, I do appreciate everybody's here this morning. We'll keep her in your prayers. I heard a story. Obviously, it's probably not true. You know how those go. But I heard a story about a guy. He decided one day, spring cleaning, to go in the attic. Lived in a house that his parents had owned, his grandparents had owned, so he had a lot of stuff in the attic. And he decided to clean out the attic, and he started throwing out junk, right? And as he was throwing things out, he found this old Bible, and it was in bad shape. It was tattered and torn, and the pages were just being held in by the cover, and it was written all over. And he was just about ready to throw it out. We don't normally throw Bibles out. He was going to throw it out, but it didn't seem like it had a lot of function. But he knew a friend that liked old books, so he called his friend. He said, if you want this old Bible, you can have it. You probably don't want it. It's written in German, and it was printed by some guy named Gutenberg or something. And the guy said, don't throw that out. That's probably one of the first books ever printed. It's probably worth millions of dollars. He said, no one wants this. It was written by some guy named Luther. Well, just to tell you, if you had a Gutenberg Bible, which is worth millions of dollars, and it was written in by Martin Luther, it's probably the rarest book on earth. You wouldn't want to throw it out. Probably worth several $1 million. The point I'm trying to make is that we have this habit in our society, our culture, to kind of throw up old things. We have, because of mass production of technology and all kinds of things, a lot of times it's just easier to throw out an old something and buy a new something. If you're out there, not picking on Apple customers, but if you're out there and you have an Apple product, you realize it has programmed obsolescence. After a couple of updates, you're going to have to buy another device, or it's not going to update anymore. That was not an accident, it was planned. Okay, so you just get rid of the old phone, you get a new phone. I remember growing up, there was this TV show, so you probably watched it, called The Andy Griffith Show. And in Andy Griffith land of Mayberry, there was a guy named Emmett who had a fix-it shop. He fixed coffee makers and toasters. He wouldn't have a job today. Because now, if your toaster goes down, you don't fix it. You just throw it out and buy another one, right? You wouldn't even have a job. It kind of leads into other things. Some of us have, or some people in our culture have that same idea about people and relationships. Companies, they get rid of older employees to hire newer ones that they can pay less and give less benefits. We certainly live in a culture where it's really quick to just give up on one marriage and move into a new one. Doesn't really, that really didn't affect us. Well, in the church, it is not uncommon for people just to move to another church because of the problems of the old church. Grass is always greener on the other side. Of course, what they find out is that, the new eventually has other problems as well, which is so easy for us in our culture to just give up on the old things and look for new things. And it makes it sound like I'm saying new things are bad, but they're not, because, the Bible really does say a lot of things about the new. In fact, almost exclusively new things are always positive about them. We know that in Psalms chapter 40, I'm going to read it in just a second, David talks about a new song. I want to read that to you. I'll wait patiently for the Lord, and He inclined to me and heard my cry. He brought me up out of the pit of destruction, out guided me in my earth's way, and he set my feet upon a rock, making my footsteps firm. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and will trust in the Lord. That phrase, a new song, is found at least 5 more times in the book of Psalms. It's probably found 3 or 4 times in other parts of the scriptures. And always it refers to the beginning of a new relationship with God. A relationship that is firm and strong. And it's such an exciting thing that the person needs to sing a new song to God. It's not about, the debate that is going back and forth about, the old hymns and the new contemporary songs. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with people who want to worship God with a new perspective and appreciation for His goodness. Might be the same old song, but sang a new way, with more zeal, with more appreciation, more love for God. The Bible tells us in Isaiah chapter 6 about the fact that we've been given a new name. In Isaiah chapter 62, verse 2, the nations will see your righteousness, and all the kings will glory, and you will be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Lord will designate. Isaiah, the prophet, is speaking to the people, and again, he's talking about a new relationship with God, because he's going to restore his people. Isaiah is talking to a group of people that have gone astray. But God's going to build a new relationship with them. He's going to restore them. He's going to give them a new name. And as we move thousands of years into the future, it's got a dual meaning. Because in the New Testament, we find God's people getting a new name, don't we? We're called Christians, aren't they? And it continues throughout the Bible, this idea of the new. God says He's going to give us a new heart. Ezekiel chapter 36, 26, 27. This is what Ezekiel says. It's, moreover, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you will be careful to observe my ordinances. God makes a new covenant with His people, a new relationship with His people. He gives them a new spirit, a new heart. You say they have a spirit and a heart of rebellion and idolatry. And He gives them a new heart of desire to follow God. And that new heart is undivided. It's not looking to idolatry. It leads the people to follow His law. So the Bible talks about a new heart. And in the New Testament, some things are familiar with, Jesus used the analogy of a new wineskin. In Mark chapter 2, verse 22, He says this. He says, no one puts new wine in old wineskins. Otherwise the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is lost, and the skin is well. But one puts new wine in new wineskins. A lot of people go, what is that talking about? Well, the whole idea is this. You got this old wineskin that doesn't want to stretch and move. Put new wine in it, it expands and bursts. You see, the gospel is vibrant. It's dynamic. It changes us more and more every day. We have to be new wineskins because we can't change. When the Bible calls us to do that, then we're useless. The Bible talks about a new wineskin. The Bible also talks about a new way. In Hebrews chapter 10, 19, and 20, therefore, brethren, since we have confidence in the holy place by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way, which is inaugurated for us through the veil that is His flesh. You see, the New Testament tells us there's a new way to get to God. And that entrance into the presence of God is through the body and blood of Jesus Christ. It's not the old way of laws and rituals and commandments. It's a new way of grace and forgiveness and love. Galatians chapter 6, Paul makes a statement about the cross. And understanding this, it seems that everything always goes back to the cross. It puts everything in perspective. He says this. He says in verse 6 of Galatians verse 14, or chapter 6, verse 14, but may it never be that I would boast except in the cross of Jesus Christ, crucified to me, and I am the world. See, Paul says that he would boast in nothing but the cross. And what we'll find is that the cross puts everything in perspective. And leads us to a new covenant that God's offered us. Now, God talks about it back in Jeremiah. In Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31, behold, days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Jeremiah goes on to say that this new covenant would not be written in stone like the Ten Commandments, it would be written on the heart. And if we fast forward a couple thousand years, what we find is Jesus instituting the Lord's Supper. This is what he said. This is the blood of my covenant, which is written or poured out for many for the forgiveness of sin. See, the new covenant was written in blood. The new covenant. It's not a coincidence that we always come back to the cross. God also talks about us becoming a new creation. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. So therefore, if anyone is in Christ, is a new creature. The old things are passed away. Behold, new things have come. You know, we're going to do a song in a second, just as I am. Let me think that. You know, the grace of God accepts us at the cross just as we are. But here's the deal. It doesn't leave us that way. It makes us into a new creation. When we are covered with the blood of Christ, when we're made new, we're daily going to be recreated over and over again. The cross calls us to put on a new self, which is the likeness of God that has been created in righteousness of holiness of truth. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 24. You see, if we're going to become a Christian, our lives are going to change. We're going to be a new creation. And over and over again, I just gave these examples. Over and over again, the Bible stresses the new. So what does that have to do with our culture? Well, I think it has something to do with the fact that, you know, I've heard one person say that our culture is impacted by the new. But that's not what the Bible's talking about. The Bible is emphasizing something brand new. Not what our culture emphasizes in new. It's not about throwing out the old and buying new. It's about taking the old. Now listen, it's about taking the old and making it new. You see, there's a difference. Our culture wants to take the old and get rid of it and buy something new. But the Bible talks about taking the old and transforming it into something new. All those texts about new creation, new ways, and new songs, and new heart. It's all talking about God reclaiming and redeeming an old, broken self and making something new out of it. You see, God likes to recycle. He was the first recycler. Now, we think it's a new thing. No, God's been recycling for you. There's a message about this that we're familiar with in the book of Isaiah. And it's there in chapter 42. We're going to read through a little bit. He said to them, he gives us a message. Let's read here. Chapter 42, Isaiah. I'm going to read 1 through 9. It's the first 9 verses. He said, behold, my servant, whom I have upheld, my elect one, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him, and he will bring forth justice to the Gentiles. He will not cry out, nor raise his voice, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed he will not break, a smoking flax he will not quench. He will bring forth justice for truth. He will not fail, nor be discouraged, till he has established justice in the earth, and the coastline shall wait for his law. Thus says the Lord God, says God the Lord, who created the heavens and stretched them out, who spread forth the earth and that which comes from it, who gives health or breath to the people on it, and the spirit to those who walk in it. I, the Lord, have called you in righteousness, and will hold your hand. I'll keep you and give you a covenant to the people as a light to the Gentiles, to open blind eyes, to bring out prisoners from the prisons, those who sit in darkness from the prison house. I'm the Lord, this is my name, and my glory I will give not give to another. nor my praise to carved images. Behold, the former things have come to pass. A new thing I declare. Before thy spring forth, I tell you them. Before they spring forth, I tell you them. You know, there's a metaphor here. He's talking about Israel. But you know, everything Isaiah says always has their own meaning. You see, he talks about a bruised reed or a smoking wick, some versions will say. You know, a reed was kind of like, I don't know if you've ever gotten a piece of bamboo. And you can use it like as a walking stick or you can use it as a rod. But if you bend it just a little bit and you break that tissue, it won't, you can't walk with it anymore. It's useless, right? You know what I'm talking about. And this is what he's talking about. A reed was a kind of a bamboo-like plant, but if it got bent just a little bit, it lost its strength. It became worthless. But he says the Messiah isn't going to break the reed. He's not going to throw it out. He's going to make it worse, have worth to the people, to God. He's going to make the people who are bent reeds, and he's going to make them God's chosen. He talks about a smoking wick or a smoldering wick or flax. The idea is that, you know, when they made a lamp, it was full of oil and it had a flax reed or a flax wick sticking in it. But when the oil dried up, when the oil got used up, the wick would smolder and become useless. So what they would do is they would take the wick and throw it out and get another. But Isaiah tells us the Messiah is not going to snuff out that wick. The useless is going to have value to him. He's going to take the old, useless wick, and he's going to have value in that. See, God uses this image to refer to Israel. You see, Israel had been bruised by unfaithfulness to God. And they were like a smoldering wick because they were losing purpose. But the Messiah, he wasn't going to break the reed or snuff out the wick. He would take the useless and the broken and make them new. There in verse 9, he says, behold, the former things have come to pass, and new things I declare. Israel, Isaiah's message is that God is about to make everything new. And if you keep reading there in the next couple of chapters and throughout the book, you find out that's exactly what God does. He's not going to destroy the old. He's going to make the broken and the worthless into something special and useful. He's going to make everything new. But God's way of doing this is it's going to be surprising. Because what we find as we read through the book of Isaiah is we find this idea of a suffering servant. You see, the picture of the Messiah is far different from what those people wanted it to be. In fact, there, if you read a little farther, you'll find, or if you read these verses, you'll see there in verse 2, it says, he will not cry out, nor raise his voice, nor cause his voice to be heard in the streets. He's not what they expected him to be. And if you go to Isaiah chapter 53, in fact, your Bible probably has at the top of that chapter the suffering servant or the wounded servant. What you do is you get this idea that the way that God was going to fix the broken was by breaking his son. You see, he was gentle with the broken because he was broken. He would be easy and show mercy to the guilty because he had felt their guilt. He would make new things or old things new again. Now it would come at a high price. But that's what he would do. If you look in chapter 42, the book we're in, you go to 16, it says, I will bring forth the blind by a way they did not know. I will lead them in a path that is not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked places straight. These things I will do for them. and not forsake them. He is going to not leave it undone. He's going to make straight the crooked path and light the dark path. You know, we'll listen to the New Testament. We'll back up for a second. You know, there is an image in the New Testament, and I think it's always very appropriate to us. You know, Paul, in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, he describes kind of his life as a race. You know, he says, you know, I fought the good fight, I finished the race, I've kept the faith. That's kind of the way he looks at his life. And you know, I think that it's not hard to imagine our life, actually the life of every person we meet, as kind of a race. You know, a lot of people in our culture, they're racing for the next new thing, next best thing. But you know, Paul looks at it and gives us the image that we're running this race to heaven. And it's part of being a Christian. And it's a race we have to run. It's a race that sometimes some don't finish. It's a race that sometimes leaves us kind of heartbroken because there are people that we love that never even start the race. You know, we're hurt. But then what really matters is how we run the race. Sometimes we might find ourselves feeling like a bruised reed, feeling like a smoldering wick, something that is useless, something that's flawed. In fact, as we look at our lives, I suspect, maybe at times we might feel a bit overwhelmed by mistakes and flaws that we see in ourselves. We're overwhelmed by the brokenness and the failure and the sin. Much like I suspect that the people of Israel, as Isaiah was talking to, but you know, Isaiah had a message for them. Even though they were broken and they seemed useless, they were a broken reed or a smoldering wick, whatever you want to call it, whatever metaphor you want to use. Even though they felt that way, God was still able to take what they were and make something new out of it. And this morning, as we're looking at this, I think we should understand that we run this race to nothing. But the truth of the matter is that God can take the uselessness that we feel in ourselves and He can turn it into something new. You know, Christ has used the broken before. If we look at, we're not going to go through, but if we look at all the apostles, disciples, I don't expect you're going to find a perfect one in there. In fact, most of them are pretty obviously not perfect. You know, the one that made the dead alive can make the broken new again. And I think that's what we need to look at today. God has given us this path, this race to run, if you want to use Paul's word. And we have to decide how we're going to do it. We can allow failures to ever define us as, using the word, our broken reed. Something that has built you. Or we can decide to let Christ make us something new. Ultimately, you know, it's our choice. But we need to understand that God wants to make us something new. And you know, we're coming up, and this is not related at all. I know we're coming up to a new year. Everybody wants to do something new every year, right? Do something new. We have these resolutions. I'm not asking you to make a resolution because no one ever keeps them. But, you know, a new year, you can start something new, right? And understand that God can truly make us a new person. He can truly make something that's broken into something new. He makes everything new. He wants to make everything in your life new. He wants to make you more useful and more practical and more usable in His service. You know, He wants us to understand that we can sing a new song because we can desire a stronger, better relationship with God. We truly can. He's going to give us a new name. He can give us a new heart, we can be new wineskins. We can allow the Word to mold us and shape us the way it's supposed to. We can know that Jesus is the only way, and we can be a new creation. Now, you never know, standing up here, you never know where people are. You know what I mean by that? You never know. Hey, where are they in their walk? Where are they in their race as they try to lead a life that's desirable to God? To be a new creation, to be a new person. You never know where they're at. But what I do want to do is say this. I want to say that if you haven't started that walk, if you haven't realized your right and ability to be a new creation, let the Word guide you and direct you and mold you into the person that God wants you to be. There's always time for that this morning. If you need to put Christ on baptism, begin that new walk, you certainly should do that now. But if you're somebody, as I think most of us, many of us are, somebody that's already began that walk, maybe a long time ago, maybe just a couple weeks ago, who knows, and you realize along the way that you have faltered, you've gone astray. Maybe you feel a little broken. Maybe you feel a little useless. And God can use you, can make you new. In fact, there is no better people to pray with you and for you than the people that are here. This is your family. If you have any need, I ask you to come forward this
this Lord's day that you allowed
of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We pray thee, Lord, that you'll bless this congregation like you have in the past, as long as we've been found good and faithful. We ask, Lord, that you place a hedge of protection around each and every one of us, especially the young among our number. Help them to shun evil whenever it's filled with something face. We ask, Lord, that you give each and every one all the boldness and confidence that we need to claim you and throughout the often undone world, and give you all the glory and honor you deserve and bear fruit in thy name. We ask that you give it the sick among our number, Lord, and that you heal them, bring them back to the much wanted help. We pray, Lord, that you'll guide us